is Twist okay? So was Twisters one of the one of the first of its kind in terms of like one of the first natural disaster movies that came out? Because when I watched this film, right? Sorry.
I don't know. I think
Okay.
it got attention at the time for how good the twister effects looked.
Okay, I was about to say because when I saw this film, like literally, you literally like said it right. Like this film, it's a done well film. So it's not good, it's not bad, it's just solid. It's done well, right? And so that's why I was a bit like taken back when you guys were saying when you said, "Oh, it was such a big hit back in the day." So I'm like, "Oh, I don't see why it'd be such a big hit." The only reason why I could think of is because it was the first of its kind in terms of like a natural disaster being on screen. So yeah,
I think the first time it was really put on screen in a big way with CGI, because like mid-90s CG was rough. Like you had your standouts like Jurassic Park, which I think was 97. I'm not sure, but like if you watch mid-90s movies, they use CGI and it's bad. And Twisters was one of the ones where it really worked and it really wowed people at the time, which you can't do again, right? Because people are used to photorealistic, perfect CG, right? So you can't wow people with how great the effects look, and they don't even really try here, right? Like the storm effects and the twister effects are good, they look fine. They didn't wow me at all. It's just there, and that's not because the movie is bad. It's because that's just how CG is. Like we're used to seeing photorealistic, fantastical things that they couldn't even dream of 30 years ago. And so it can't win in the same way that Twister did. But having seen the first one very recently, I was surprised at how good the characters were, which you don't really expect from a movie like that, like stereotypically. But what the first one did really well was you had these two scientists who are trying to get this prototype to work, right? This Dorothy measuring system, right? And they are racing against the clock, against a rival team with corporate backing who have more resources and who have, who just can do, like who get all the fancy toys, whereas they have to make do with a shoestring budget. And they're basically trying to get the system to work to get these good revolutionary readings on these tornadoes, while at the same time they have their own personal issues. They're used to date, and she's driven by grief and like having lost people to tornadoes, and he's the one who's tried to move on. He's actually trying to get a divorce paper from her, and then the plot happens. So there is stuff going on with the characters, and you feel about them, and you are invested in their journey, right? And that is something that really stuck out to me in this movie, because none of that is here. So you've got Kate, right, who has the traits of both of the original characters, right? I've seen some reviews saying they kind of swapped like the character traits, but I don't think that's true. I think Kate has all of them. She is the intuitive one who kind of has this almost borderline psychic relationship to tornadoes and can just sense how they're going to behave. And also she's the driven scientist who wants to defeat this phenomenon so that nobody else has to lose a loved one, right? So she has both of these character arcs in one person, which is the first mistake. And then you've got the Javi character. By the way, I saw this in the German dubbing, which is a horrible mistake, and I'm going to get names wrong because I didn't hear it in the original version, right? But I'm going to call him Javi. He basically does not have that same kind of dynamic, and they don't really have that same dynamic that the two main characters had in the first movie. And then you've got the Tyler character, who has no personality whatsoever. He comes across as this arrogant douchebag in the first 10 minutes, and after that he's just handsome movie guy who is there to support Kate. And he has no goal, he has no personality, he has no character traits, nothing. And that's the movie.